Hey, good evening, everybody. Good evening, everyone that decided to join us tonight on the very first episode of Trademark Your Mental Wealth, guys. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Ken Lawrence, and I'll be your host tonight. And we're gonna navigate this thing, man. We don't have a script. We don't know how this thing gonna turn out. We just want to talk to you all tonight about money. We want to talk to you guys tonight about finances, and we're gonna have some fun as we do it. So, with tonight being my very first episode, guys, I brought a group of people with me that I want to share this episode with tonight. So, the very first gentleman that I'm gonna bring to you guys tonight, for people in my world, he needs no introduction at all. I've known this gentleman for about 3 years now, and he has been an absolute blessing to me in my financial life. He's become a friend of mine and a guru when it comes to finances, guys. So, without any further ado, I want to introduce my very first guest to you guys, and that is none other than Mr. Charles Ivory. Charles, are you there?
Hey, Ken. Yeah, I'm here, Ken. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear. How are you?
Hey, I'm better than amazing, but I got that bad internet going, so it may be a 10-second delay.
Well, it gives me comfort just knowing you're there. So even if you can't really communicate as much as you want to, man, the simple fact that you're there is going to bring me a whole lot of comfort. So I appreciate you taking some time out your schedule and joining us tonight.
Hey, there's no other place I'd rather be, man. You my man, 50 grand. I'm gonna support you any way that I can. So hey, I just thank you for even thinking about me, for even having me a part of your debut. I know you're about to blow up.
Man, I wouldn't have it any other way.
Let's
So
educate.
let's do it, man. So number two is a gentleman. Geez, I've known this dude for about 15 years, man. You know, we actually became business partners about 4 years ago. I talk to this dude basically every single day. We share a lot of financial goals. We share a lot of personal goals. And I'm honored to call this guy my friend. So let me bring to the screen none other than my main man, Mr. Henry Reed out of Houston, Texas. What's up, dude?
Hey, what's going on, brother? How you doing, man?
Hey,
Charles, how
man,
you doing?
I'll let you know when we're done.
No, man. I kind of to piggyback off of Charles, man. I'm just happy that you chose to allow me to be a part of your series debut. I'm looking forward to it. I know it's going to be very good, great, informative, and transparent. We're going to
Henry's still
talk
getting
about
camera ready.
So yeah, it's gonna be transparent. I mean, hopefully tonight, man, people can walk away with some understanding that when it comes to this finances, man, it's a learning process. It's nothing that we are born with. It's a learning process, and most of it you have to learn by fire. So for those of you who are taking notes or prepared to take notes, man, I really urge you guys to really pay attention tonight for two reasons. Number one, my guest speaker is an expert in this area. And number two, I'm the test subject tonight. What we're talking about tonight is not anything that I've heard about. It's not going to be anything that I've read about. Tonight, I'm the test subject. I'm the guinea pig. I'm the one that's coming from behind the curtain and let everybody know that when it comes to financial issues, man, we all have them. We all have them, but the thing about it is that people can't actually help you unless you're willing to put out there that you need help. So let me go ahead and introduce our guest speaker tonight. This young lady has a ton of experience in the financial sector. I've known her for quite a long time. I actually take pride in knowing her now because in the previous life, she wasn't exactly somebody that I wanted to see on a weekly basis. Let's just put it that way. So let me bring to the stage and allow her to introduce herself, my good buddy, Melissa Hutcherson. Melissa, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Awesome. Wonderful. Thanks for asking.
Hey, man. So, guys, what a lot of you all may not know is that I told you guys how Charles and I became partners and buddies. I told you guys how Henry and I became partners and buddies. But when it comes to Melissa, Melissa was actually the branch manager at the payday loan place that your boy used to visit all the time.
Yes, I was.
I don't remember if I saw you every 14 days or every 30 days, but I know we had a very close friendship because I was in that place quite a bit.
Every 14 days.
So introduce yourself to everybody. Let them know who you are and what you do.
Oh, my name's Melissa Hutcherson. I've been in the financial field for over 10 years now. It was something that I really loved doing when I first got into it. But as the years went on, it hit me that what I was doing, I actually wasn't helping people. I was hindering them and just trapping them and keeping my foot on their neck, and they weren't able to grow financially because I had them trapped in this payday loan cycle, which is a horrible cycle to be trapped in.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I say, guys, I wasn't there by choice. I felt like I was there by necessity. Number one, because I really didn't understand the options that I had, and I saw that payday loan as being something that I could do temporarily to get me out of a short-term situation. So, Henry, I know you've had it all your life, man. You've never been into a payday loan place. You probably did me right now because I went there. So tell me how it is on the other side when you've never visited one of these places.
I wish I could, but I remember being that college student, man, trying to make ends meet. Had a little part-time job, full-time college. I was going to this one on this street, and then 3 days later going to this one, and 2 weeks later going to another one to pay these two, and it was just a cycle that once I got into it, man, it was very, very, very hard to get out of.
Right.
And kind of like you, it was out of necessity. So I felt, because I didn't know any other way. I knew I needed the money, and it goes back to hindsight is 20/20. Not having money costs money.
Right.
And that's a hard lesson I had to learn.
Yeah. So Melissa, since you were actually in the place, let us know your experiences while you were there and some of the things that happened behind the scenes that the traditional person that just goes into these places never see.
Well, first of all, it's like we're presenting a short-term option to you, but in hindsight, we're actually trying to lock you in to a lifetime contract with us. Because yeah, you may take out $350, and of course your payback is going to be $400. We set that up on your weekly or bi-weekly pay period, or monthly, and then you would come back in and you would pay the $400. And as soon as you would pay the $400, someone like me working behind the counter would say, well, you don't need this money back? Do you have other things that you need to take care of? Maybe other bills. You need to get a tire fixed or something. Oh, yeah, you're right. I need to just get this back. So here, let me give you another check you can hold and give me my $350. Knowing you will be right back within 2 weeks with that $400. Because I wanted to keep a job. I wanted to keep my staff employed.
Yeah, now that you mentioned it, let me ask you that question. So that was actually a script that you guys had to try to get people in those doors, out the door, back in the door again?
Yes, it wasn't really a script per se that was written on company policy, but that's basically how it worked.
So
because we needed you to come back.
I have to ask because I've been in retail, and I know in retail we were incentivized for our numbers. So tell me there wasn't a bonus structure involved in it.
Where I worked, there really wasn't a bonus structure. We were just paid hourly. But there are other loan companies that do work on bonus structures, and wow, yeah, they're very strong and powerful when it comes down to you trying to tell them, no, you don't need any more money, but yet they advance it more. And like, oh, you need to get your car fixed, or what about it's Christmas time? Come on, you need to get some presents for your wife and your kids. just take out that extra 400 or extra 350.
Very friendly.
Yeah.
Very friendly.
Well,
very friendly.
I didn't need very much convincing. And to be honest, guys, this was the era to where they actually had the paper phone book. So I would go in the phone book, and my whole goal in the phone book was to find the payday loan company that would give me the longest grace period in between my loans. So, if they had some that would give you 7-day loans, I didn't want them. That was too quick. Melissa had the 14-day loan, really wasn't appealing, but she was friendly. And I didn't feel like she was judging me. So I was comfortable going there because we had this relationship. But they had some companies to where you could actually go and you could get a loan for 30 days. And those were the places that I frequented most times. And it got to a point to where I had put it in a point where I never had 2 loans that were due on the same day. I had it to a point to where I would go from one place to the other one, just making sure that each paycheck, because I was paid weekly, but each paycheck was paying the loan off so that I could go back and borrow from the other place.
Right.
So Ken, are you telling me that, Ken, did you and Melissa get on first name basis?
You see how easy this conversation is, don't you?
So you thought Melissa was just being friendly and kind, but it sounded like Melissa was doing job security.
Yeah, Melissa was making sure that she didn't have to get no payday loans by keeping me in there getting mine.
Exactly.
So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go over a few statistics about payday loans, and you guys can stop me and communicate with these things as you feel free. But according to my research department, there are 12 million people who take out payday loans annually. 12 million people. So that alone lets you guys know that this is not an isolated incident. And believe it or not, I don't think it's really predicated on class or structure. Because Melissa, I'm sure you've seen some people who are quote unquote well-to-do that were coming in there behind the scenes getting these payday loans because they had overextended themselves.
Yes, there were a few entrepreneurs that had their businesses, and they would come in nice vehicles, Range Rovers, Land Rovers, and they would pay off that 400, get that 350 back, and go right down the street to another payday loan, pay that, get that money right back, and go to another one.
Yep. Story of my life. Well, I didn't have the Range Rover.
Yeah.
At the time I was pushing a Ford Expedition. And to be perfectly honest with you, to be completely transparent with you, the first payday loan I got, the very first payday loan I got was because I wanted to go to the rent-to-own place and pay for my rims and my tires that I was renting to own. That's how bad it was. Mother was renting to own tires and rims.
And that's one of the places I would market at. I would market at rim shops because, of course, you need extra money to get those rims and tires. Ooh. I would market.
That's dirty.
Yeah, I would definitely market at the different little sound audio places because you need some extra money to get that sound in your car.
Ooh, that's dirty.
So this may come across as insensitive to a lot of people. But I have to ask the question, since you told me where you were marketing. In your perspective, was there a particular demographic that the payday loan industry caters to, whether directly or indirectly?
Yes, I noticed that it was a lot of older people on fixed incomes. And
really?
that really didn't sit well with me.
God, dog. All right, guys. Statistic number 2 says that unlike traditional loans, payday loans must be repaid all at once. So in most situations, if you go to a bank, they will extend you like a line of credit, or you get a loan and you can pay back a little bit at a time as you go. Whereas with payday loans, you have to pay everything back in one lump sum, knowing that you're going to need it again and have to reborrow it. Now, as far as places that you can get payday loans at, they actually label 3 places. They call them storefront, online, and in bank. I never heard of a bank doing a payday loan before, so I thought that was kind of interesting. But I know, during my time, the storefront was my preferred method. My preferred method of of payment. Or to go in and get my customer service on and get my check and walk out of there with my head up. So I did the storefront. I know now that they have a lot of places online that are offering these payday loans too. Some of them I'm quite sure are probably don't have the moral backing that a lot of them do. And banks, I didn't know that banks did payday loan.
I actually worked for a credit union that did.
Man, get out of here.
Yeah, that's new to me too.
Like at the payday loan company I worked at, it was the same thing. Every 2 weeks, they would call back and they would pay it and they would get it right back.
See, I always thought that credit unions were there to try to help people get ahead. I didn't know. I mean, it's all business. So why should I be?
Yeah.
Why should I be surprised? Now, unlike a traditional loan, with traditional loans, their credentials. You have to have criteria to get traditional loans. Like they're going to check your credit. They're going to check a whole bunch of other stuff. Now, with a payday loan, you really only need two things: a job and a checking account.
Yep, that's right. And 3 references.
Yeah.
Now, I'm glad you mentioned that. Now, let's be real. We keeping it real here. We transparent. Did y'all even call them references?
We would call them before we did the initial loan. And some of them, if they didn't answer, we would just leave a message hoping that they would call back. But if they answered, it sounded like a kid, somebody young or somebody that was really old that really didn't know what was going on. Or it could be just coworkers and friends that were doing the same thing.
Henry, Charles, that was part of my comfort zone. I know for a fact they ain't called my references. They didn't call my references. I don't know if I had to look like I was honest or whatever, but they gave it up, dude. And like that made me feel comfortable. I was back in that joint more times than I needed to. And I knew, I guess, now that I think about it, I guess it made me feel good. Because can you imagine going somewhere and knowing that you have questionable credit and getting approved instantly?
Instantly.
Same feeling that I got when I went to the payday loan place, because I knew that when I went there, I was going to get approved. So it wasn't no judgment going on. Well, it wasn't judgment to my face. They probably were judging the heck out of me after I left out of there. But it wasn't no judgment to my face. And I knew that for the most part, it was going to be in and out, and I was going to meet the criteria. Now, the average payday loan was $375. The typical renewal fee was $55. Now, this blew me away. It said that the average customer actually reborrowed their payday loan for 5 months, which means that each time they reborrowed, there was a $55 fee attached to that. So you borrowing $375 and you're paying $110 a month just in renewal fees.
Right.
Yep.
As you mentioned earlier, they are marketed as a short-term solution for emergency situations, but they actually bank on the fact that the consumer, check this out, they bank on the fact that the consumer will not be intelligent enough to be able to decipher what an emergency situation really means. So you meet a lady, you take her out on a date. That's an emergency situation in their eyes. You gotta go bring some rims so you can look like you have it going on. That's the emergency situation in their eyes. So I can't argue with the statistics because I'm fitting all of them right now. All right. It says that a better option would be to ask friends and family for a loan, but they bank on the fact that most people will not do that for ego purposes. I know that to be true. Number 2 is that they bank on the fact that a person either will not be able to qualify for a credit card or the credit cards are already maxed out. The third option is that people can actually sell stuff, but they realize that people who have less than favorable financial literacy usually attach themselves to material things and refuse to let them go.
Whew.
And that typically they don't have the financial expertise to be able to cut back on expenses. Meaning that you have to do a payday loan, but you got 265 channels, including HBO and Showtime, and won't let neither of them go.
That's right.
Jesus
That's
Christ.
the trap.
Most common uses for payday loans are to pay utilities, car payments, food, and rent. Okay, this is what I thought that was quite interesting. They say that payday loans are often marketed as an alternative to prevent overdraft at your bank, even though throughout the duration of the loan, you typically pay more than what you would have for an overdraft to start off with.
Correct. Correct.
To that point, you want to know how I got out of some of my payday loans? I changed banks. I changed banks. I tell you, I was so deep into this that I probably changed bank probably about 4 times in 6 months.
They still looking for Henry.
Woohoo.
But it's a long time ago. That's a long time ago. This is before you knew me, so this was a long time ago, long time ago. But
I'll be even more transparent with you. I think my method may have been a little bit more extreme than yours, because there was a point in time. I'm just being honest about it, because I don't want people to think that because I've grown to a point that I've forgotten the struggles that I got through to get to this point. Man, do you remember when they were actually giving people money to go to these plasma banks?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I've done all that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I've done all that. So I've used plasma bank money to pay back for my 14-day loan.
Yeah.
So when I talk to people about financial education and about coming out of it, I'm not talking about it from a place of endearment or a place from where I truly can't relate to it, because I can. I absolutely can, because it's things that I've dealt with. Now, when it comes to payday loans, they usually fall under 3 categories: either a 7-day, a 14-day, or a 30-day. 14-day was the one that I used the most. The 30-day was the one I looked for. If I could find me a good 30-day, I was in there.
So just imagine somebody on Social Security that gets $800 a month, and they go to the payday loan company and borrow $350, and they have to pay it back on the 30th, but they don't get their Social Security check until maybe the 1st or the 3rd.
Man.
Yeah.
God.
Now they got to get that extension, and
that becomes very tough. And the one thing about that is the older people are actually in somewhat way making it seem like it's cool for the younger generation, because I noticed that younger people were coming in and doing the same thing, and they were making it very repetitive. And I would ask them, what are you doing? Why are you coming back to get this over and over again?
Yeah.
Well, I got to pay my bills. I said, well, no, this is a temporary fix. You got this to pay your bill that you needed it for. And then once you paid it and paid us off, you're done. You're out of here.
Yeah. And you know what? The crazy thing is the paperwork says that. I remember that being pointed out to me when I was going to, hey, the idea is to make this as temporary as possible. But I mean, if you need it today, you're going to need it tomorrow. And that's just, that's the truth.
I want to show people what a typical payday loan agreement looks like. So it even goes against what you talk about, because they say that it's for temporary purposes. But if it's truly for temporary purposes, why do they extend it out to a point to where they understand that it actually becomes something that you can't easily get out of? I mean, when we show you these numbers, when y'all see these numbers, you're going to know that they can say what they want to about it being temporary. There's nothing temporary about this. So let me pop this up for you guys to see this. All right, can you guys see the document?
Make it a little bit bigger.
or I'm gonna blow it up for you.
All right.
All right, guys. So I'm gonna let Melissa explain this because she's the expert. She knows this. She knows this much better than I do. I was just a fool that just when I gave her my money. But tell them what they're looking at.
Basically, you are looking at your standard payday loan agreement. Now, if you take a look at that, you'll notice that there's an APR, an annual percentage rate.
Good God. 557.
That
509%.
Yes, percent.
Jesus.
That's a number that you never would have thought that you would actually be charged.
Yeah, because it make it look like it's insignificant because you're borrowing 3, you're paying 355 back. So to a person it looks like that they're just paying $55 for it, but
Right.
you're paying $55 for 14 days.
Correct.
So if you do the math on that, guys, basically you are paying them $3.93 per day to borrow $300. And like we say, most people actually renew this payment for up to 5 months, which means they were doing it at a rate of twice a month. $110 a month just in fees. Just in fees. And like I said, still no judgment, but it's baffling to me that me, a person who has always thought that I made good decisions and stuff, actually saw this as a viable option. And I did it over and over and over and over again in most situations. So, man, it's a deadly trap. It's a deadly trap. And I know Charles says it all the time. It's something that Charles said that I love when he says it. He says that the debt has a way of making you get your needs and your wants confused. You start to think that the things that you need are actually wants, and you just start buying stuff, and it just compounds on you. So that's why we take financial education so seriously, because it can happen to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
It can happen to anybody, and those loans are easy to get into, but they are heck to get out of. The last statistic actually says it, and Henry actually started this. It says that for people to get out of payday loan debt, it usually takes an infusion of cash, either a tax return, a bonus, or money that was given to you from friends and family.
Mm-hmm.
And if you rely on a tax return to get you out of debt, we have a couple shows coming up that's gonna make you realize just how bad a shape you really in if your tax return is your get out of jail free card.
But check this out now, Ken. The payday loan companies are now doing taxes too.
Oh,
For a fee.
the money grab.
Yeah.
Money grab.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how
you file your taxes, you get your money early at a certain percentage, and then we pocket the rest.
What? Say it again.
You get your money early at a certain percentage. Mm-hmm. And let's say you come in and then we file your taxes, and then you get, let's say, $2,500 back. Mm-hmm. But we're able to advance you $1,500. So we'll advance you to $1,500, but when we get the $2,500, that's lagniappe for us. The rest of the money.
Wow.
The other $1,000.
Still at their ridiculous interest rate.
Yep.
God, dog.
Yep.
That's crazy.
So not only did I do your taxes, I got $1,000 from you, and I'm betting on, because I'm going to mail you out something in the mail to let you know I'm still here for you a couple of times, give you some calls, and then I will see you in the next few months.
God, dog, man. So, guys, as I know some of you guys jumped on late, so as you guys jump on, man, leave your city and state in the comments so we can see who all we have on the call and what our reach is tonight. Charles, may I ask something?
Here.
Charles got the 10-second delay. Hold up.
We ain't catch none of that.
Yeah, Charles.
Right. It sounded like it was good.
Yeah, y'all know I'm in the country, man. Y'all got me.
She got on the ivory.
I said, are you saying? I know that's why I'm moving, man. So you telling me you charge people to do their taxes and then keep their money?
Yes. We had to keep a little portion.
Now, well, you know, the biggest victim of this, believe it or not, is the military. If you go outside any military base, all you see is payday loans, title loans, and pawn shops outside every military base. Yeah, this is one of the reasons why I didn't get the payday loans, because it can kind of ruin your career, especially as an uncommissioned officer. But it really hits our soldiers really hard with these payday loans. And it starts off when you come into the military. Like, I remember when I first got into the military, the first thing I was exposed to was the military star card. We used to call it DPP, deferred payment plan. So as a young kid, 18 years old, you give me a credit card, I max it out. Now you are already in plastic poverty. And then you try to recover from that by then going to the payday loan. So now you got payday loans and you got the credit card, you get hit on both ends. But if you go to any military installation, that's all you see. As soon as you get out the gate, payday loans, title loans, pawn shop, several of them on all gates. And most military have 10 gates.
I never would have thought that about the military, though.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Now I know that you know, in certain areas, like I'm here in Louisiana, you know, so the major city from where we are is Baton Rouge. So I know in Baton Rouge, I know where they I'll say urban neighborhood. You usually find a payday loan place somewhere close to the grocery store
or Dollar General.
Like you say, somewhere close to convenience stores. You'll find payday loan places somewhere close to
college campuses.
Yeah. So you know, it's I just think it's a trap, man. And you know, like in some of the more affluent neighborhoods, you'll find not necessarily payday loan places, but you'll find loan companies that are a little bit more free with their loan principles, but the interest rates are not nearly what you find in these payday loan places.
Right.
Mm-hmm. God, dog, man. But
those are just the next step up from the payday loan company.
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. So I mean, it's you know, you're graduating, but you know, it still ain't nothing for you to be proud of, and nothing for you to just sit back and just be cool with.
Right.
So you know, guys, when I talk to you all about financial education, I talk to you about sometimes the only way people can help you is for you to let them know that you need help. There's a lot of people out there right now that probably will help people with a lot of issues that they're having. But see, but it's hard for a person, and this was my problem. See, I had a pride problem. It's hard for somebody to help you get somewhere when you're already acting like you're there. And that was my problem. Like I said, I had the expedition, I had the rims on the big 22-inch rim, not understanding that I was financing the lifestyle that I knew for a fact I couldn't afford. But it was okay because people who were my peers thought that I had it going on. And at that time, between the fact that I had it going on and the fact that everything was being met, that's all I really worried about.
Yep.
So that's gonna kill us for episode 1. We're at about 35 minutes. So anything in closing, Charles? 1,000.
No, I'm good, man. Hey, this is hey man, you bring me on the show when I got better internet.
Now see, Charles Charles is the epitome of not wasting money. Because don't let him fool you. He got money.
Right.
But he won't spend money on that doggone internet booth.
I ain't got no bandwidth.
Dial up.
Hey, I got money, but I ain't got no bandwidth.
Oh man.
All right, man. Look, I appreciate you taking time out, man, and being a part of show number one, man. We gonna do this thing consistently, and hopefully, the content gets better, and we get participation, and we can just take this thing somewhere big, man. Henry Reed, what you got for me in closing?
Oh man, nothing, man. I enjoyed myself, man. It was eye opener, even though I experienced a lot of it. But to hear someone from the inside just kind of give it to you and tell you the ins and outs of it, it was very good, man. I appreciate you for having me on, man.
Man, we were prayed upon, bro. Melissa was sitting there with the script, man. She had a script for all her employees, man. We be talking about the cops got a quota, bro.
Hey, man.
Can you imagine Melissa behind the desk? Here he come.
Yeah.
Look, out of bed, he reborn.
It's a setup, man. It's a setup.
I appreciate you taking this journey with me tonight on show number one, man. We're gonna do this thing every Tuesday until the wheels fall off.
Let's do it.
Oh, Melissa hurt my feelings, man. Thought I was getting over and found out that they had a whole strategy. So, Melissa, is there anything that you want to say in closing?
If you can, don't fall for the trap. If it's a temporary fix, if you have a blown tire or a busted radiator and you need it, get it fixed to get home, then yes, take advantage of it, but pay it out and leave it alone. Definitely focus on financial literacy. That is your way out of it. Listen to Ken, listen to Charles, and listen to Henry. They have very good advice on how to get out of this. If you got too many payday loans, try and see if you can get a loan with another finance company to where you can pay off all of those payday loans. And then you'll just have that one finance company you can pay monthly. There's ways out of it. But like Ken said, if you don't tell anybody, then nobody knows that you need help.
I just got a comment from a lady who said that she was also a payday loan manager. And she said that one of the places that they would do their advertising would be at dealerships that did rent to own for vehicles. Because she knew that those were people who needed money, number one. And number two, they realized that if they didn't pay their vehicle weekly, bi-weekly, that the people actually had the capacity to turn their vehicle off.
Crazy.
They turning cars.
Yep. The trap. It's horrible.
Enough bad news for tonight, guys. For those of you who joined show number one, man, I really appreciate you guys. Like I said, this is going to be the most transparent show ever because I want everybody to understand that regardless of how bad things currently look, that you have options. And that in a lot of situations, the options that you have are much better than some of the methods that you're currently considering using. So if there's anything that we can do to help you guys as far as financial literacy and helping you get out of that hole, then please feel free to get back with anybody on this panel, man. We all have resources where we can help you guys get out of this rat race. So sometime very soon, I'm actually going to do another video where I'm going to show you guys how compound interest actually works. That's all they do with these payday loan places is that they compound the interest at a rate that you can't keep up. So I'm going to do a very, very simple spreadsheet or worksheet. It's going to show you guys just how quickly compound interest can get ahead of you and where you realize that credit card companies, credit loan places, banks, all these places are businesses, and their intent is to make a profit. It's not to be your friend, it's not to be your ally. These are places of business where their sole intent is to make a profit. So until next time, guys, I appreciate everybody on. If we did anything tonight that you got any value out of, guys, please comment. Let us know what you think about the show. Share this video with anybody that you feel can benefit from it. And other than that, guys, we'll see you guys same time, same channel next Tuesday, guys. Appreciate you all for jumping in. Everybody have a good night.
Good night.
Good night. Good night.